Welcome to another edition of Ask the AD. Brian Smoller with the Director of Athletics, Gene Taylor, here to talk a little bit about what's the latest news and notes regarding K-State athletics. Not as many questions from you, the fans, this time, so be better here coming up in the next month, I guess is what I would say. We do have one question that we'll get to a little bit later, but first up, the biggest news that has come out here recently as it affects our world and the media that we're talking on right now on social media and streaming is the announcement from the Big 12 Conference signing this deal with ESPN Plus for third-tier rights and football championship games on ESPN over the air. I guess from the short-term and long-term perspective, how does this benefit K-State in the Big 12?
I think you're right. I think there's two pieces, short-term, long-term. I think in the short-term, it gives our fan base an opportunity to figure out we have one place to go to watch all of our games. If you have the ESPN Plus, you can go there, and even if we're on ESPN or ESPN2 and you're on your digital device, you can watch it on the Plus. That's where digital's going. That's where ESPN's going. They're putting their money into the Plus. It's going to be a digital network, as we know. So from the short term, we know exactly how to find all of our games, no matter football, basketball, baseball, volleyball. We can go to the Plus, and it's going to be on there. In the long term, it puts ourselves and the Big 12 in a better bargaining position as we go to start to renegotiate our grant of rights for our linear network in a few years in a much stronger position. So now the Big 12 has the rights to every live content. And that's the big thing, is live content is key. And television stations and networks and whoever else is going to bid want as much live content as they can get. We'll provide that now for the conference, and it'll put ourselves in a position to hopefully generate more revenue for a conference and our institutions. So short-term, long-term, both of them are very, very positive.
And even though Texas and Oklahoma aren't part of this at the outset, they seem to be on board. There was their announcements from the respective athletic directors in the Big 12 official release, and everyone seems to be together on this.
Yeah, and both their presidents have come out very strongly in support of this move. And so it was an all-in decision. It wasn't about us versus Texas and Oklahoma. They are absolutely very supportive. As we go down the road, we'll see. But I think I don't think I know they're very supportive. It's just what role they'll play. But even the Texas fans will now be a part of Plus, because if they want to watch Texas when they come to K-State, they're going to have to be on the Plus as well.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing it simplified. And of course, as we approach the fall season, we'll have more information about the exact games and what will be on and all that sort of stuff as we get closer to 1920. All right, so K-State football will be the biggest topic, of course, when we get to that point of the fall and what will be on ESPN Plus. We'll have, we think, one game. We'll know which game that is later. Football spring game just wrapped up, spring showcase, I guess. What was your takeaway from the spring practice and the showcase event?
The feedback I got from our fans that as I walked around the stadium, they enjoyed the format. They enjoyed the interaction with the coaches and the players and the interviews, and certainly they learned a lot about, kind of what the offense might look like and the defense going forward next fall. The activities around the game were very well attended. We had an apparel sale that went very, very well. And obviously our traditional Power Cat auction Friday night before was our biggest crowd we've ever had. We generated a significant amount of revenue from donations, and thank you for all that participated. So I thought it was very good. How we'll tweak it next year, we'll sit down and kind of do a review and see what we're going to do next year. But for the first part, first time, I thought it was well received.
Yeah, and again, it was kind of out of necessity. It was how it was born out of, with injuries and everything else. But the promotion staff and experience staff does a great job here of fine-tuning and staying on top of it. We'll see how it goes here from here on out. Of course, from here to the end of the sports season, it's baseball that gets a lot of the home events. Wildcat baseball team is red hot right now.
They're on a roll. And in talking to Coach Hughes, I think the team has gained a lot of confidence. They're feeling that if they put the pressure on teams, they put themselves in a much better position. They're having fun. I think they're having fun playing baseball, and that is turning into some success and really good win, obviously, to take 2 out of 3 against Texas and going to Nebraska and beat a good Nebraska team and have a couple of shutouts back-to-back, and then certainly starting off with the TCU. So they're having fun, and they're getting more and more confident. It's still a long season, we've got a lot left, but you can see the improvement, in my opinion, in a great deal with the baseball program.
It's early, so it's too
got
early.
Got some great young pitchers.
No doubt. I was going to say, it's early in the whole process, right? The rebuilding process for Pete Hughes. But so far, it seems to be a perfect fit, and he has endeared himself very quickly to Wildcat fans and to the players.
Yes.
A lot of fun to be around. All right, speaking of fun, we didn't have many questions when it came to the fans this week. Thought we'd have a little bit of fun. We did have one question that came from Facebook as we take a look at it. This is from Jeff Stark on Facebook, talking about the exit 313 sign on I-70 as you come off. He said there used to be some power cats that identified that was the exit for K-State. They're no longer there. How do we get them back?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually have seen them before. I don't know. I didn't realize they were gone. Yeah, it's something we'll look into. I like the idea. If we can, it's a branding thing, and obviously people, they're driving up and down and looking for an exit. It's great to have that power cat on there. I don't know if it's a state highway issue that we need to go back to and ask them if they've gotten away from that, and how, if they did, can we bring it back? But we'll certainly look into it and see if we can get some of that signage back. Absolutely. It's a great question.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Keep the questions coming. Sorry we didn't get to your question, Scott, about Bosco. We'll have to table that one for now and see if we get more support.
Good table.
All right.
I thought your answer on Twitter was pretty good, though, about the dog and the cats.
Cats and dogs don't mix. It's like oil and water. All right. Construction continues. We talked baseball for a moment ago on the Buser Family Park, going over for soccer, and of course the renovations for Twighton Family Stadium. Feels like every time we're out there, we're seeing something new being done. It's exciting. What's the next project is the next question, of course. Master Facility Project, are you any closer to announcing?
We're getting closer. Probably something later this summer or first part of the fall. We'll have a better idea of which project or projects we're going to focus on from a fundraising perspective, and from maybe a first one, a shovel in the ground idea. But we're getting much closer. We've had some great response from our donors on showing their interest in various projects, and once we get that figured out, we hope to have an announcement. But we're getting closer, and it's getting pretty exciting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no doubt. And everyone driving up College Avenue, it gets pretty exciting just to see all those big pieces of concrete and steel being swung into place over there, and it'll be fun to see that during the summer as well. All right, so year 3. Believe it or not, here we are, getting ready to kick off year number 3 for you here at Kansas State. What are some of the goals that you'd like to have here as we get to the summer and then into 1920?
Well, we've talked about one of them, and certainly the biggest one is probably announcing and figuring out what our master plan, what's the first piece or pieces that we're going to do, continuing to fundraise for those other pieces of the master plan once we figure out the priorities. So that's number one. I think number 2 is monitoring and how we can continue to improve our fans with the ESPN Plus, and what are some other options we can come up with in terms of the coaches shows and how we're going to handle that, and some of the the extra programming that we have. For me personally, I need to get out and spend a lot more time with our teams. I don't get a chance to get a time. I don't travel with volleyball. I've gone with men's and women's basketball and football, but I don't get over to practices. So for me, I need to get to know our student athletes better. I think it's very, very important for me to get the chance to know them, and then continuing to look at our budgets and where we can improve from a fundraising perspective. Where can we improve from a revenue generation perspective? As our costs continue to go up, we need to continue to manage that budget. But the biggest one is really going to be the facility piece in the next 9 to 12 months.
Even though the seasons are winding down, it should be a pretty exciting next couple of months for K-State as we see the stadiums come to life over at baseball and soccer, and also the realization of the master facility plan, and that gets started and launched again. Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much, and let's get those questions rolling.
That's right.
We want to answer your questions as much as we can.
Yeah, not mine, is basically what he's saying. All right.
No, I like your question. You're good. You're good.
We'll take a couple weeks break. We'll be back with the next edition of Ask the AD coming your way in May. Keep them coming on social media. We'll try our best to answer them as we can. For Director of Athletics Gene Taylor, I'm Brian Smoller. Thank you for watching Ask the AD.